Okay, so we're going to do the very first program. So program number 1, assignment 1, week 1. We're going to follow all the rules that we need to follow to get full marks on the assignment. So this is Visual Studio, opened up. So first thing we need to do, create a new project. I'm going to click on create a new project. I've got a bunch of options here. We are going to do console programming. Okay, so this means that all of our programs are basically going to be in the little black. When we run them, you're going to get the little black window. You'll see what I mean in a bit. But that is the console. So this is a console app in C#. So I want to select this. I want to basically have this set to C#. You can program in all these different languages here, but I want to have C#. I want to be a Windows program, and I want to have that selected to console. And I should be able to get a console app.net framework. And I can select that. Okay, now this is very critical here. When you create the application, say next. Program 1, hello world. Now, when you do this, the location that you pick, this is very important. It's going to try to stick everything in a default location, which you do not want. You want to be able to store all these somewhere together. So make sure you set this in some place that you want, okay? Because it'll try to put them in the default location, and then when you go to save files, it's only going to save one individual file. But your program is actually a whole directory of content. So when you go to submit something, you want to submit that entire directory, and you want it to be submitted in a zip file. So make sure everything gets saved together. Okay, that's very important. Yeah, so make sure that we do this step properly. So make sure you set this location to the location where you actually want to save all of your programs together so that you can organize them. So now I get this. All right. So this is my programming environment here. So I got a lot of stuff here that looks kind of weird. What is all this? We don't really care about all this stuff right now. What we do care is a couple main things where it says static void main string args right here. In between these two curly brackets, this is where my code goes that I'm actually going to write code for. So I'm just going to create some space in here. Everything takes place between curly brackets. So you can see there, static void main. That is our main programming area in there. Okay, got a bunch of overhead stuff up here. Up in front of this, I'm going to create some space up ahead of this too. And at the top of every program, we want to have a couple things. We want to have your name, student number, the week, and the program that you're doing. So whenever we enter in anything, so I'm going to say this is Al Douglas. My student number is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Program 1. Let's actually put a name on this. world. We call this week 1. Now, you notice here, I've got all kinds of little red squiggly lines underneath things. Whenever you have red squiggly lines underneath something, that means that is some type of error. Okay, you can see as I'm typing this in too, I get all these errors coming up below here. 16 errors I have entered into this program now. So it doesn't like this. So where I have text here, I just want this to be basically comment text, or basically just some type of descriptive text that doesn't, it's not a command, it's just a description of something. You're allowed to do that anywhere as long as you put 2 slashes in front of it. So if I go here, I'm going to make all this bigger. As long as I say // now you see this all turns green and it's no longer an error. I'm down to 12 errors now. You can see all this is errored out too because it doesn't like it now. // and // back down to no errors. So // basically defines that this is now a comment line. Okay, so whenever we put // that means we have a comment going in. So that is how we're going to comment our programs. And it's going to be very, very important to comment your programs because your program has to be able to be read by somebody else or just by you to understand what's going on. And you're going to be graded on that, you're going to see as well. So let's scroll down here. So every program we do, always going to have your name, student number, what the program is, and what week it is. At the very top of this header here. Okay, that's the first thing we're going to do. Now, we get into the main chunk of our program here. So in between here is where we're allowed to write things. This is where we're going to put in all of our commands. So the very first command we're going to do is call console.writeLine. And what that does, it basically makes text show up on the console screen. So I'm going to say console, and you can see as I type, a bunch of different options are going to come up here. It's trying to figure out what I'm trying to type. Console write line, and I'm going to go bracket, and then whatever I put in these brackets is what's actually going to show up. Now if I want to put up just some text, I need to put quotation marks around it so it recognizes that that is text that's going up. And I'm going to put hello world. Alright, so that is basically my command there. Now you'll see at the end here, I still have a little squiggly red line there, which indicates an error. Every line of code that we put in, we have to say, I'm done with that line. The way we indicate that is a semicolon. So every line we always type has to end with a semicolon. So I do that. I have no errors. That's a good line. It likes all this. Okay. The other thing I'm going to do, and I'll show you why, I'm going to put in another line here. Console read line. That's just empty. So console write line, hello world, and then console read line. That is going to be my program. Okay, so pretty simple program. You'll notice as well these plus and these minus signs here. I can click on that and it just collapses it. You can open or close. So basically you can collapse any of these things. I'm just going to collapse that so it makes it easier to read. So this is basically my program right now. Okay, so that's everything here. I show no errors right now. I'm going to try to run this program. So this start button right here, this will make the program actually run. So what should happen, I should get some text that comes up here. I'm just going to put in a comment here. So I'll write the text hello world to the screen. All right. So if I push this button here that says start right at the top of the screen, start, that should actually execute the program. So let's see what happens here. I'm going to hit start, builds the code, runs it. Now I get this console that comes up and it says hello world. Pretty impressive. That's my program. Now you can see it just sits here. If I hit enter, it closes. Okay. Now, if you want to remove something in a program, you can just put 2 slashes in front of it. That line of code right now just became a comment because I put 2 slashes in front of it. If I were to run this again, now it will not write anything. I hit enter, take that back out. Now this read line at the end here, why is this in here? So if I do that again, that basically removes that line. The purpose of that, and what we're going to see is we put that at the bottom of every program we're going to do. The reason we're doing that is if I run this right now, it's going to write hello world to the console, but then our program is done and it's just going to close the console window right away before you can even see what happened. Having that read line in there, it's waiting for data to be entered from the screen. It's trying to actually read what is entered. So it's basically holding the screen open until you hit the enter key. So if I run this right now with that not in there or comment it out like I have now, so if I try to run it now, you'll see the console is just going to open and then close again basically. Can't even tell what happened. So this executed, but you didn't even see what happened. So this basically, I'm just going to put a comment in here that says hold the screen. So that's basically what it's doing, is holding the screen open. Alright, so that is our first program. So now, got all that. I got a lot of extra lines in here, so I'm just going to get rid of some of these extra spaces because when I save this, I want it all to fit in one shot. Gotta make sure I don't eliminate any of these curly brackets accidentally. I just deleted that one there. If I try to run this right now, it's got errors. Okay? Gotta make sure all these curly brackets match up. That's pretty good. Let's do this. I'm going to close this so we have more space here. Make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to say start. Alright, so I'm just going to resize this. I'm going to drag this over here. Let me resize this. That's my entire program. There's my console window. I'm going to do that. And now what I need to do to save this as part of my what I'm actually trying to do is I'm going to say I'm going to take a screenshot of this. So I grab that screenshot and I'm going to open up a Word document. And I'm going to paste that screenshot into this Word document. So that there is everything I need to get graded for program number 1. I've got my program, I've got the output window, I've got comments in the program, I've got my information at the beginning there. I'm ready to submit this. So I have my file going here. So I'm going to say, let me store this. I'm storing that there. Rid of that. I got my document I'm storing. And I also need to now save this program.